I'm a big fan of the extract function, and after this video, I'm sure you're also a big fan of the extract function. Why? Because it lets you create multiple columns from a single column, but more importantly, it really teaches you about regular expressions. And let's not waste any time and jump right in. So the extract function is sort of like a cousin or brother to the separate function. Let's just create a quick data set with a couple of values, for example these, and this should be enough for now. Okay, this is our data set. It has this variable column, and this variable column has this structure, a letter, a dash sign, and another letter. And we can use the separate function to separate this variable into two. So the variable is called variable, and we're going to separate it into the column A and the column B, and then this column has a separator, which is the dash, and we also want to keep the original variable. So let's see how this works. Wonderful. Now I can see I have two columns made from one column. The separate function is nice, but you get full power if you're going for the extract function. Let's do the same with the extract functions. Let me just quickly copy the code, go down here, and now let's use extract. Extract has a different approach. It doesn't look for any separators, but it looks for groups in your column. I'm going to go into this in a second. So the first argument is the column you want to separate, or where you want to extract stuff from, and then you want to convert it into a number of new columns. For example, let's call them A, B again, and this is the new magic. It's the regex function, and for that you need to go into regular expressions. I told you that extract is working with groups, and we've covered this topic of groups before in one of those tips, and a group is always defined by an open and a closed bracket. Now let me just quickly write this down, A to Z, and then there's a dash, and then the second group, oopsie, the second group, there we go. Second group again is any number, any letter from A to Z, and then again we want to keep the original column. Remove equals false. I hit the button, it doesn't work because there's something missing. Let's have a look. Something's wrong. I think this is too much. No. Something's not working here. Give me a second. A to Z. Ah, sure. I'm missing the brackets here. The square brackets. Need to close it. Now it works. Wonderful. Okay, so we achieved the same result as in the first example, but now we're using groups instead of the separator. The first group is any letter from A to Z. It's just one letter. And the second group, again, is the same thing. Any letter from A to Z. And each group will be converted to a new variable. Since we have two groups, we will have two variables, and this number should always match. So this vector should be as long as the number of groups you specify in the regex argument. Since this is not a super interesting example, because essentially it just does the same we had in the separator function. So let's create an example that's only working with extract, and this is more complicated. So my data set, or my column, has a letter and then followed by a number, and now I want to extract the letter from the number. So my variable is called variable. I want to convert it into two columns. The first one is called letter, the second is called number, and then I need a regular expression to distinguish the two. That's hard, but it can be done. So again, we have to think of groups. First group is the letter X or Y, indicated by the fact that we put them into square brackets. And then the second group is a number, indicated by this regular expression. Let's keep the original column, and now I can see, wow, I converted one column into two columns, and it worked because I've been using this group thing. And last but not least, let's take another more funny example. Imagine you have this data set of names. For example, Elton John is actually called Elton Hercules John. I didn't know that. Angelina Jolie Void or something. And now I just want to extract the first name of the person and the last name of the person. This can be done with the extract function again. My variable is called variable. I want to convert it into let's call it first name and the last name. And then I need my regex. Well, my regex looks like the following. The first group is nothing but any word. And it's just not one word, it's going to be multiple. That's why I'm using the plus sign here. Then there's a space. There's any character in between, another space. And then my second group is any word, again, of arbitrary length. Let's keep the original column, run this code, and now I can see first name is David, last name is Law, David Law, Elton John, and so forth. So this works. Extract is a super powerful function. It helps you to learn about regular expressions, and whenever you want to extract or turn one column into multiple columns, you go with the extract function.